The guy called the richest man in the country his mother. Only then did his girlfriend realize her so-called broke boyfriend was actually the son of a billionaire. His mother, the nation's wealthiest businesswoman, had come that day just to meet her potential future daughter-in-law. But after taking one look at the girl, she was deeply disappointed. And soon, the guy himself would realize that his girlfriend's character was just as disappointing. It all started earlier that day. The guy had planned a surprise to celebrate their dating anniversary. He was going to reveal his real identity as a wealthy heir. But instead of being met with love, he got nothing but mockery from his classmates, who scoffed at the country boy thinking he could win over the most popular girl on campus. Still, he didn't let it bother him. After waiting an hour, his girlfriend finally showed up, but to his shock, she brought another guy with her, one of the campus fake rich kids. Angrily, he asked her what was going on. Unapologetic, she told him straight. He had no ambition, no money, and couldn't give her the life she wanted. Then and there, she broke up with him. That was the moment the guy finally saw her true colors. And honestly, part of it was his fault. He'd been way too low-key. He wore cheap clothes, acted humble, and tried to live like a normal student. That gave people the impression he was just a broke farm boy from the countryside. His girlfriend dumped him for that reason alone, choosing instead to stick with the flashy fake rich kid. They even flaunted their relationship in front of him on purpose. But just as they were laughing at him, everything changed. Out of nowhere, a sleek, multi-million-dollar luxury car rolled up to the school gates, and out stepped his mother, the richest woman in the country. The guy ran up to her immediately. His mom looked him over and scolded him playfully. "With all the hotels our family owns, why would you pick this shabby little place to confess your love?" The students standing around were stunned speechless. After just a glance, his mom saw right through the ex-girlfriend's shallow nature and decided then and there, her son deserved better. She mentioned setting him up with a top-tier actress instead. Then she handed him a custom-designed outfit from the back of the car, told him to dress better next time, and drove off. But the students still couldn't believe it. A fruit seller's kid driving that kind of car? Please, they scoffed. They were convinced it was all an act. Some even claimed the woman must have been a hired actress. Right then, one of the fake rich kids proudly showed off his brand new limited edition sports car, laughing that even if the guy worked his entire life, he couldn't afford a single part of it. The ex-girlfriend, standing beside him, gazed at the car like it was a throne. The guy, curious now, pulled out his phone and took a closer look at the picture they were flaunting. To his surprise, the photo had been taken in his own family's private orchard. Even the car was one of theirs. Suspicious, he messaged his family's assistant. Sure enough, the photo was an unreleased promo shot for one of their upcoming campaigns. Now things were getting interesting. He asked his assistant to investigate how that fake rich kid had gotten access to it. Meanwhile, completely unaware he was messing with the real heir, the fake rich kid tried to offer him an opportunity. He invited him to join the school's entrepreneurship competition the next day. Grand prize, $500,000. The ex-girlfriend laughed mockingly. How's he supposed to enter a startup contest when he's dead broke? He probably can't even get an invite. But the guy had had enough. It was time to show them who he really was. With a calm smile, he accepted the challenge. Right after that, the guy headed straight to his professor's office, explaining that he needed a recommendation letter to enter the school's entrepreneurship competition. But the professor didn't take him seriously at all. He scoffed at the idea and told him he couldn't participate without startup funds. The guy calmly said he had $500 million in his account. The professor thought it was a joke and gave him a condescending smile, warning him not to let his ego get the best of him. But when the guy pulled out his phone and showed his bank balance, the professor froze. Just then, the fake rich kid and his scheming girlfriend barged into the office and interrupted them. The fake heir immediately asked the professor for a recommendation letter, and the professor, clearly a snob, didn't hesitate to say yes. With the letter in hand, the fake rich kid turned to mock the guy, bragging that he had everything while the guy had nothing. Then he strutted out with his girlfriend, acting like he'd already won. The guy calmly asked the professor how someone as rude and arrogant as that could be allowed to represent the school. But instead of answering, the professor told him to reflect on his own shortcomings. Shocked at the professor's blatant bias, the guy said nothing and quietly walked out. As soon as he stepped outside, his assistant texted him, and that's when the truth hit him. The so-called rich kid was actually one of the students he personally sponsored through a charity program. The fake heir had been using his monthly allowance to live large, party on campus, and even bully the guy who funded him. Furious, the guy immediately ordered his assistant to cut off the sponsorship. Then he called his father and asked him to assign a few assistants to help him prepare for the startup competition. His father agreed without hesitation. Back in the dorm, the guy was once again mocked by the fake heir and the other roommates. But this time, he stayed silent, expressionless. His blank stare made the fake heir squirm. Trying to play it cool, the fake heir suddenly invited everyone to visit his family's orchard. But the guy fired back, "That orchard's not even yours." Just then, the fake heir's phone rang. It was his sponsor, terminating his funding. Panic washed over him. He begged to know why, but the voice on the other end hung up without explanation. Dejected, he returned to the dorm, only to be comforted by his unsuspecting roommates. To cover his tracks, he lied and said his parents cut him off because he'd been too focused on the startup competition. They believed him and even offered him their own money to help. Re-energized by their kindness, the fake heir vowed to repay repay them someday. The guy could only shake his head, quietly watching it all unfold. Soon, it was the day of the entrepreneurship competition. The fake heir confidently pitched his project, and the crowd, full of suck-ups and status chasers, showered him with praise. His roommates looked at him like he was a god. One of them challenged the guy to present something of his own. Without hesitation, the guy walked on stage and unveiled his bold plan to build a one-of-a-kind, 7-star international hotel. The audience burst out laughing, calling him delusional. Even the professors urged him to stay grounded and stop dreaming, but the guy stood firm, ignoring their mockery. Enraged, the fake heir whispered to the professors, pushing for the guy to be expelled. He threatened to make him pay for his arrogance. The crowd turned on him, calling for him to be kicked out of the school. Just then, a tall, elegant woman walked in, flanked by a team of bodyguards in black suits.